Chapter 37 or Book 3, Part 8. Down in the Well. I climbed down the steel ladder anchored in the side of the well, and in the darkness at the bottom, I feel for that bat I always leave propped against the wall. The bat I brought home with me, all but unconsciously from the house where I had followed the man with the guitar case. The touch of the scarred old bat in the darkness at the bottom of the well fills me with a strange sense of peace. It helps me, too, to concentrate. When I find the bat, I form a tight grip on the handle, like a baseball player entering the batter's box, assuring myself that this is my bat. I go on from there to check that nothing has changed down here in the darkness, where there is nothing to see. I listen hard for anything new. I take a long pull of air. I scrape the ground with the sole of my shoe. I check the hardness of all the wall with a few taps of the bat tip. These are just rituals designed to calm me down. The well bottom is like the bottom of the sea. Things down here stay very still, keeping their original forms, as if under tremendous pressure, unchanged from day to day. A round slice of light floats high above me, the evening sky. Looking up at it, I think about the October evening world, where people must be going about their lives. Beneath the pale autumn light, they must be walking down streets, going to the store for things, preparing dinner, boarding trains for home. And they think, if they think at all, that these things are too obvious to think about, just as I used to do and not do. They are the vaguely defined people, and I used to be a nameless one among them. Accepting and accepted, they live with one another beneath that light, and whether it lasts forever or for a moment, there must be a kind of closeness while they are enveloped in that light. I am no longer one of them, however. They are up there on the face of the earth. I am down here in the bottom of a well. They possess the light while I am in the process of losing it. Sometimes I feel that I may never find my way back to that world, that I may never again be able to feel the peace of being enveloped in that light, that I may never again be able to hold the cat's soft body in my arms. And then I feel a dull ache in the chest, as if something inside there is being squeezed to death. But as I dig at the soft earth in the bottom of the well with the rubber sole of my tennis shoe, scenes from the surface of the earth grow ever more distant. The sense of reality subsides bit by bit, and the closeness of the well comes to develop me in its place. Down there, the well is warm and silent, and the softness of the inner earth caresses my skin. The pain inside me fades like ripples on water. The place accepts me, and I accept the place. I tighten my grip on the bat. I close my eyes, then open them again to cast my gaze upward. I pull on the rope to close the well lid, using a pulley arrangement fashioned for me by the clever young cinnamon. The darkness is now complete. The well mouth is closed, and all light gone. Not even the occasional sound of the wind can be heard any longer. The break between people and me is now total. I don't even have a flashlight with me. This is like a confession of faith. I mean to show them that I am trying to accept the darkness in its entirety. I lower my bottom to the earth, lean my back against the concrete wall, grip the bat between my knees and close my eyes, listening to the sound of my heart. There is no need for me to close my eyes, of course, down here in the darkness, but I do it anyway. Closing the eyes has its own significance in darkness or otherwise. I take several deep breaths, letting my body grow accustomed to this deep, dark, cylindrical space. The smell here is the same as always. The feel of air against my skin is the same. The well was completely filled in for a time, but the air here is strangely unchanged from before. With its moldy smell and its trace of dampness, the air smells exactly as it did when I first climbed down inside. Down here, there are no seasons, not even time exists. I always wear my old tennis shoes and my plastic watch, the one I had on the first time I came down into the well. Like the bat, they calm me. I check to see in the darkness that these objects are in firm contact with my body. I check to see that I am not separated from myself. I open my eyes and, after a time, close them again. This is to help bring the pressure of the darkness inside me more in line with the pressure of the darkness around me. Time passes by. Soon as always, I lose the ability to distinguish between the two kinds of darkness. I can no longer tell if my eyes are opened or closed. The mark on my cheek begins to run a slight fever. I know that it is taking on a more vivid purple. In the two increasingly intermingled darknesses, I concentrate on my mark and think about the room. I try to separate from myself, just as I do whenever I am with the woman. I try to get out of this clumsy flesh of mine, which is crouching down here in the dark. Now I am nothing but a vacant house, an abandoned well. I try to go outside, to change vehicles, to leap from one reality to another, which moves at a different speed, and I keep a firm grip on the bat all the while. Now a single wall is the only thing separating me from this strange room. I ought to be able to pass through the wall. I should be able to do it with my own strength and with the power of the deep darkness in here. If I hold my breath and concentrate, I can see what is in the room. I myself am not in there, but I am looking at what is. This is the hotel suite, room 208. Thick curtains cover the windows. The room is dark. A vase holds a massive bouquet of flowers, and the air is heavy with their suggestive fragrance. A large floor lamp stands beside the entrance, but its bulb is white and dead as the morning moon. Still, if I stare hard enough, after a time I can make out the shapes of things in the hint of light that manages to find its way into the room, the way eyes become used to the darkness in a movie theater. On the small table in the middle of the room stands a bottle of Cutty Sark, its contents only slightly depleted. The ice bucket contains newly cracked chunks of ice, judging from their clear, hard edges, and someone has made a scotch on the rocks in the glass that is standing there. A standing steel tray forms a steel cold pool on the tabletop. There is no way to tell the time. It could be morning or evening or the middle of the night, or perhaps this place simply has no time. In the bed at the back of the suite lies a woman. I hear her moving in the sheets. The ice makes a pleasant clinking in her glass. Minuscule grains of pollen suspended in the air shudder with the sound, like living organisms. Each tiny ripple of sound passing through the air brings more of them to sudden life. The pale darkness opens itself to the pollen, and the pollen taken in increases the density of the darkness. The woman brings the whiskey glass to her lips, allows a few drops of the liquid to trickle down her throat, and then she tries to speak to me. The bedroom is dark. I can see nothing but the faint movement of shadows, but she has something to say to me. I wait for her to speak. I wait to hear her words. They are there. Like a make-believe board hanging in a make-believe sky, I see the rooms from above. I enlarge the view, pull back and survey the whole, then zoom in to enlarge the details. Each detail carries more significance, of course. I check each in turn, examining it for shape and color and texture. From one detail to the next, there is no connection, no warmth. All I am doing at that point is a mechanical inventory of details, but it's worth a try. Just as rubbing together of stones or sticks will eventually produce heat and flame, a connected reality takes shape little by little. It works the way the piling up of random sounds goes on to produce a single syllable from the monotonous repetition of what, at first glance, appears to be meaningless. I can feel the growth of this faint connection in the farthest depths of the darkness. Yes, that's it. That will do fine. It's very quiet here, and they still haven't noticed my presence. I sense the wall that separates me from that place melting, turning into jelly. I hold my breath. Now! But the moment I step toward the wall, a sharp knock resounds, as if they know what I am trying to do. Someone is pounding on the door. It's the same knocking I heard before, a hard, decisive hammering, as if someone is trying to drive a nail straight through the wall. It comes in the same pattern. 2 knocks, pause, 2 knocks. The woman gasps. The floating pollen shudders, and the darkness gives a great lurch. The invasive sound slams shut the passageway that was finally beginning to take shape for me. It happens this way every time. Once again, I am myself inside my own body, sitting in the bottom of the well, my back against the wall, my hands gripping the baseball bat. The touch of the world on this side returns to my hands slowly, the way an image comes into focus. I feel the slight dampness of sweat against my palms. My heart is pounding in my throat. My ears retain the living sound of that harsh, world-stabbing knock, and I can still hear the slow turning of the doorknob in the darkness. Someone or something outside is opening the door. preparing silently to enter. But at that very instant, all images evaporate. The wall is as hard as ever, and I am flung back to this side. In the darkness, I tap the wall in front of me with the end of the bat. The same hard, cold concrete wall. I am enclosed by a cylinder of cement. Almost made it that time, I tell myself. I'm getting closer. I'm sure of it. At some point, I'm going to break through the barrier and get inside. I will slip into the room and be standing there, ready, when the knock comes. But how long is it going to take for this to happen? And how much time is there left to me? At the same time, I'm afraid that it really is going to happen. Because then I will have to confront whatever it is that must be there. I remain curled up in the darkness for a time. I have to let my heart quiet down. I have to peel my hands from the bed. Until I can rise to my feet on the earthen floor of the well, then climb the steel ladder to the surface. I will need more time and more strength.